Hey everybody, it's Greg, Detroit's Love Guru, coming to you live with the Art of Relationship show. Today, going to talk about your relationship accountability and are you actually taking into account what you do and how it affects your relationship and actually how it affects your partner, or is it all about you? Okay, pay attention. Going to be right back with the Art of Relationship show. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Art of Relationship show. And today going to be talking about accountability in your relationship. And also, let's face it, you know what? Do you own what you do in your relationship? And I talked about this, a little bit before, but I want to do a little bit of a different aspect as let's face it, get things set up for everything. And I want you to be able to go after, you know what? Do you own what you do in your relationship? But not only that, I want to go deeper with this element and to be able to look at, are you able to look at how things affect your partner, or is it all about how things affect you? You know what? You might be, and we probably all are guilty of that, myself included, to where, okay, this situation goes into effect and, it affected me. But do you also look at how things affect your partner? Okay. Maybe you're only considering about, oh, you know what, if we live here or this happens, we pay this or money, whatever. Oh, how it affects me, what I get out of it, or how it affects me negatively. But are you also taking into an account how it affects your partner, or is it all one-sided? Do you ever ask your partner, you know what do you think? How would it affect you if we did this? Or, you know what, how does it affect you if we live this way or that way? And this could go with sex. It could go with finances, household chores. It can go with anything. And do you ever look at how things affect your partner? And, it's ironic. You could run into, with the holidays coming up, and I'm going to be given probably next week, the next episode is going to be about dealing with the holidays and the hustle and bustle. And I know COVID and everything going on, but also looking at, okay, if we did this, how is this really going to affect your partner? What do you think about this? What does your partner think about it? Or is it all about how it affects you? Plain and simple, right? And it sort of comes across as maybe you, maybe me, anybody else is being selfish. And you know what? That we forget or we take for granted. Hey, you know what? We have a partner into the mix. How is this actually going to affect them? You know what? You want to live a certain aspect, but your partner has to drive 45 minutes to work. And are you okay with that? And then you're complaining that they're not home at a certain amount of time. Well, let's see, I got to drive 45 minutes. Are you looking at how things affect you, or is it all about your comfort level? And you look at the whole picture. And again, it could come back to, you know what? Okay, we're having sex. How does it affect you if we only have it this month? But what is your partner thinking? What is your partner going through? And are you able to listen to one another and actually have an adult, emotionally intelligent conversation about how a certain situation affects you both? And this could be, you know what? You could want the grandkids living with you. Okay. And I get that. They might want to live with you, their house, something happened, finances, COVID, 2020. We all say that. But are you also looking at, I want this, I think about this. But are you also thinking about how a certain situation or a decision affects your partner? And it's ironic. I come into this often, okay, on a daily basis with my clients and couples, and try to teach about, okay, well, have you asked your partner, how does this affect you? You know what? Hey, Greg, if this happened to you, if we did this, how would that affect you? Or are you just supposed to, take it and eat it? And it's all about you. A lot of people have a hard time and maybe take each other for granted. And I know I've been guilty of it in the past. Most of us have, to take into consideration how a certain decision will affect one or the other. Okay. Do you look at, okay, your partner wants this car, you don't want a car? Do you look at and talk about, well, why do you think this? Is it practical? Can we afford the payment or whatever? Or do you assume that, someone owns a business or someone works a certain job that, oh, they work a job, they should be able to, afford it, or I'm entitled to this. Do you ever look at, well, how does this affect them? And what are your thoughts about this? Or is it, again, a very egocentric, sort of selfish stance? Maybe it's a human condition that we only look at how things affect us and look at big decision. We're not talking about, okay, I want tomato soup for lunch and I'm going to have it, and your partner isn't with you, and that has no bearing or how it'll affect your partner, right? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about big decisions. It could be about parenting aspects, about how many kids you want, about how money is spent, how it's affected one way or another, how many hours one person works. I mentioned about maybe somebody has a long commute, and are you compassionate? Are you understanding how certain situations affect your partner? Or is it all about, oh, I'm fine. As long as I'm fine, everything's cool. But you're not looking at how situations affect your partner. I talked about that: finances, household chores, where you live, what type of house you live. One person wants a huge yard and then doesn't want anything to do with taking care of the yard, but they expect their partner to cut the grass, do the weeding, or handle it, whatever. And you're like, what? So you look at it. Are you really selfish? I'm not talking about selling yourself out, but I'm talking about holding yourself accountable and how things actually affect you. That's the easy part. But let's flip it up a little bit and to be able to look at, if we do this, how's this going to affect my partner? How's this going to affect them? Maybe the way they think. How's this going to affect them emotionally? That type of thing. It's one of those, is it hypocrisy in the mix that you look at, okay, my partner better never call me or say this to me, but it's okay for you to say or call your partner the same thing. You know what? That needs to stop. And you need to hold yourself accountable and look at, let's face it, actions, decision-making, and how things affect your partner. It's not all about your partner, and it's definitely not all about you. Let's face it. It's a relationship. It's a partnership. It's about coming together and looking at, okay, if I say this, if we do this, how does this affect each other? And we know there's going to be differences. There's going to be times we want to understand each other, but then decisions still have to be made. And who makes that decision, right? And is it a tit for tat? Is it a right or wrong? Is it about logic? Is it about the emotional effects it has on each other? I'm sorry. I'm all about those, but those need to be discussed and talked about. Or is it always about one person giving in all the time? Is it all about one person, giving in and selling themselves out? That's going to make for a miserable relationship, and that resentment is going to build and build and build. And do you ever ask, what if your partner comes to you and says, well, if we do this, I'd be hurt by this. I'd be crushed about this. I feel like, here I'm doing this or doing that. I'm doing all this, and you don't care how things affect me as long as, everything works out in your favor, right? Is that fair? Or is it that because your partner, and this goes man, woman, doesn't matter, okay? Because your partner might not voice a certain situation or how it affects them verbally, are you under the assumption that everything's fine with that decision? Are you assuming because, your partner doesn't speak up or say anything that, everything's cool? It doesn't affect them at all. When it could kill them, it could destroy them. It could make resentment build and feel like they're taken for granted, being used, that they don't, have a say in decision making at all, period. Okay. So I want you to step back and start promoting, looking at how things affect both of you, not just you. And it's very, very difficult for a lot of people to stop taking things for granted and look at, okay, if I do this, how's this going to affect the partner? And it could be, with sex. Okay, I'm not having enough sex, whatever. And it's all about me and my self-esteem and my self-worth and about, me feeling good about me and feeling loved and desired. Great. I'm all about it. But do you ever look at maybe how your partner's feeling about it? How that maybe the sex life that they want that they're not getting? Do you ever ask them that? Do you care about how things affect your partner? And this goes with a lot of decision making in the relationship and how things ebb and flow. It's about showing compassion, concern, and taking accountability that you start caring about decisions and how they affect your partner. Not just about you. Okay. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Hopefully this will give you some insights. Okay. You can, follow me, subscribe, like to my YouTube channel as well. The Art of Relationships with Greg Dudzinski. Please like, subscribe to my Facebook public figure page, facebook.com/Detroit's Love Guru. Follow me, Instagram, all over the place. Okay. Peace. I appreciate everybody chiming in. Take care, okay? Bye-bye. Peace.